저는 지금 드레스덴의 젠퍼 오페라하우스에 들어와 있습니다. 여기 들어오는 입장권은 구글맵에서 해당 위치를 찾아서 인터넷으로 14유로에 구매했고, 여기 들어오니까 사진 찍는데 또 다른 3유로짜리 라이센스를 사야 된다고 제가 지금 가슴에 붙이는 요거를 3유로 주고 샀습니다. 모두 다 카드 결제했고요. 여기 투어는 45분 정도 진행된다고 합니다. 이따 뵙겠습니다.
To repair some things, let's move you to the side, please. Here you can say the rooms are increased from the lower part to the upper part. This is for purpose. This is not. I can tell you there is almost no real marble here.
Oh, really?
There is an exception. If you look down to the ground floor, there are real marble stones integrated. Yeah, we call this Venetian terrazzo. Yeah, it's an Italian style. Yeah, Venetian terrazzo when it's from Venice, and that's real marble. Okay, but the rest is all like a fake, all an illusion. Especially when it comes to this huge columns, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it looks like marble, but it's all made out of gypsum. Yeah, gypsum is the basic material for all the surfaces. Gypsum. Yeah. I have one photograph. I will. By the way, that's the guy who painted the foyer. You remember, yeah? He painted alone the complete foyer with this wooden pattern, wooden structure. Yeah, that's the part we just came from. Yeah, from the lower part. But I was looking for a different photograph. No, it has something to do with this idea to create a mighty stage. Yeah, we are surrounded by things they are not really the truth. That's the basic idea. This building, ladies and gentlemen, was also in use as a theater. Today, we call ourselves an opera house, but the first two versions from the 19th century are more or less multi-purpose houses: opera, ballet, concerts, chamber music. A lot of different events took place here. And if you have a look for what I call the iconography, I mean the number, the amount of all the paintings surrounding us, you can easily recognize for yourself, because you have a mixture of poets and composers. Composers, okay, that's what you expect if you enter a music house, but names like Goethe, I don't know if this guy is well known outside Germany or Europe. Goethe, Schiller, Lessing. Oh, come on, Shakespeare, he was an international star. Yeah? These men are not composers. They are very famous poets. So we have a mixture of musicians. Okay, there is also Richard Wagner, Ludwig van Beethoven, etc. That's what people expect if they enter a music house. But the strong relation, the strong link to poets, to literature, has something to do with the history, because this building was also in use as a theater. Ladies and gentlemen, you can ask yourself, useful to show off. It's the best style to show that you are wealthy, that you are rich. Baroque was not a time of understatement or sustainability.
이 아래층은 르네상스 양식, 요층은 바로크 양식이라고 합니다.
And keep in your mind, this building originally was ordered by a king, by the royal family, and the royal family used to live here in this building. So it was like the extended living room from the court. And of course, they have to show to the people, that's a courtly building, that's owned by the royal family. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going down for one here.
드디어
And please
보드쇼 안에
do me a
들어왔습니다.
favor and have a seat here in front of you. Let's stay as close as much together. I mean, you can move to this. Use the next row, please, because there are also groups from the other side are following us. So come together with me here in this part of the building. And the last guest.
오페라 구경 한번 하면 딱 좋을 텐데. 저기 상석이 딱 있네요.
Everybody is inside, then please close the
이쪽도
doors. Thank
상석.
you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's the last step. Oh, bless you. The last step of our little tour here through the Opera House. I mean, that's the high point. Yeah, it's also like a dramatic sequence. The most interesting part is the last part of the tour. We entered the auditorium at the so-called orchestra level. That's what we call the orchestra level.
Yeah.
I do know that some British people call this the stalls, yeah? Stalls, but most people keep it simple and say just orchestra level. We have one orchestra level and 4 levels of balconies. You can easily count for yourself, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And if you would like to add all the seats of the balcony levels, the orchestra level in total, we offer a seat capacity of roughly 1,400.
Wow.
So when we are complete, sold out, 1,400 people are inside. I mentioned at the beginning of our little tour, I mentioned the opportunity to ask for so-called standing hall or standing room tickets, especially when we are sold out. And the question is where these tickets are situated, or the seats. All the standing hall room tickets are on balcony level number 4. I mean, it's the highest position, and the tickets are behind the last row, behind the last row of balcony level number 4. There is the opportunity for you to have a seat, but keep in your mind the view is a little bit like restricted, or you have a bad perspective, a bad angle, and that's the case, the reason why you have to stay to observe the complete stage. And that's the reason why we call this standing hall or standing room tickets. But these tickets are quite cheap. I mean, something or somewhat between 7 up to 14 up to 24 euros or something like this. You don't invest too much money. It's not so expensive, but as I told you, these are not the best perspective. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, in front of you there is the stage, and the stage is open. That's really rare. Most people coming for a guided tour they have no chance to see parts from the main stage, because usually the stage is closed with the so-called iron curtain, a heavy fire protection gate which separates the stage from the auditorium. For insurance, fire insurance reason and so on, usually it should be closed. But right now, the stage is under preparation for the opera for tonight. And that's the reason why the stage is open, and that's a good opportunity for you to have a look to the main stage. This is the place where all the action happened. Yeah, that's the main stage. But there is also an extension to the left and an extension to the right and to the back. In total, we have 3 stages completely invisible for you. Left side stage, right side stage, and back stage. But these stages are really useful because you see the dimension of some scenery parts of some stage props, and usually, or you do know, normally we have to exchange from time to time the situation, the scenery settings on stage. And so my colleagues can prepare a second or a third set of scenery on the left or right side stage or backstage, and then we can easily exchange the situation on stage. But therefore you need a lot of space, a lot of time, space. Yeah. If you would add all the stage parts together, the result is roughly 1,800 square meter. That means more than 22,000 square feet, which is really large. We are moving stage parts not only in a horizontal way, there is also a vertical way, and therefore the stage house in total is 42 meters high. That means more than 135 feet high. That's more than twice as high as the auditorium. Because if you have a wall or a tower or a tree of this heights, you need the same dimension above the stage, otherwise it wouldn't be working. In front of the stage, ladies and gentlemen, you have the orchestra pit. And you see a little bit here from this harp, from the instruments, because right now the orchestra pit is not at the deepest position. We have a flexible orchestra pit. We can move up and down the surface of the orchestra pit in total for about 3 meters or 10 feet. It depends on the performance on stage. If there is a symphony concert, soloists performing, chamber music, then we lift the surface up and bring the orchestra pit to the same level like the stage. Then it's like an extension from the stage into the direction of the auditorium. That's what I call the concert hall mode. But if you are coming for a regular opera or a ballet like we have tonight, then we will move the orchestra pit down for about 3 meters. And right now it's something in between. For tonight you can expect that we move more deep for about, let's say right now, for about 1 meter. And then all the musicians, including this harp and the conductor, all the musicians are performing down the orchestra pit. So it depends on the performance on the main stage. Left and right side from the orchestra pit you can see former royal boxes, former royal loaves. You see the socialist reduced version of the Saxon crown on top. Most people believe the royal family always occupied here this middle balcony sections because this is obviously the best places. Sometimes, yes, especially when the royal family was accompanied by other royal guests, diplomats, envoys, let's say VIPs. When the royal family came more or less private to the opera house, then they used these balconies left and right side here. We call this proscenium loge, proscene, that means directly to the stage. These balconies are so bad, or let's say the seat position is so bad, the viewing angle, the perspective to the stage, nobody would pay €1, $1 or whatever today and purchase a ticket. It's not available in official way. I mean, this is worse in comparison to what we call standing hall or standing room tickets, because it doesn't matter if you stay or not, you can't look around. And the question is why the highest authority in the state used to have the worst seat position here inside the auditorium. The answer is simple: these are the best places to be seen. It was more important that the people had a good view to the king. Instead, the king had a good view to the stage. And only when the king was accompanied by other special guests, then they shared the middle balcony. If you look up above the stage to the ceiling, I don't know if you can see it from your perspective, there is a clock. There are 2 windows displaying the time. The left window displays in Roman numbers the hours, and the right window in Arabic digits the minutes. But the minutes are changing in 5-minute steps. If you look up right now, you can say, oh, there is a huge inaccuracy, there is a deviation because it's almost 2:40, and there is 2:35. Yes, because the time, the minutes are changing in 5-minute steps. So in a few seconds, the 35 will disappear and substituted by 40. And then we have 45, 50, 55, etc. And that's the reason why we call this the 5-minute clock. So if you look up, in a few seconds, you will see the change in the right window. If you look a little bit below, you see this wooden colored stage frame. In the middle you have the coat of arms of Saxony. And left and right side from the coat of arms you have 2 projector screens hanging down from the ceiling. These screens are in use for what we call supertitle. That means every opera is supertitled. You can read a summary of the words performed on stage, sung, spoken, whatever, in German and in English. So you can easily follow what's going on stage. It doesn't matter if you understand the language, the performing language, or if you have an idea about the storyline, the content, no problem. You can follow in English and in German what's going on stage. For tonight we have a German opera by Georg Friedrich Händel. Of course, then you can read in English if you don't understand German what's happened now on stage. That's for super time. And finally, if you look up to the ceiling, you can see a copy of the original chandelier. The original one got lost during World War II. And that's a copy. It's 1.9 tons heavy. And there are about 250 lamps or light units.
Wow.
If we have to clean something or there's a maintenance, we can move the chandelier down on a steely cable, and it's not necessary for my colleagues to climb up. When we are completely sold out, I told you there are approximately 1,400 people here in the building, in the auditorium. In addition, we have the orchestra, soloists, choir, etc. A lot of people. And maybe for several hours. You know, there are operas like Ring des Nibelungen by Richard Wagner. Maybe you can spend up to 6 hours here inside. Or Night with Roses by Richard Strauss, 4.5 hours. They're more or less really long operas. And you are here inside for several hours. And you would like to have a constant temperature and you need fresh air. But we can't open any doors or windows during a performance. So the question is, how is our air condition working? And it's smart and clever. If you check out the backrest in front of you, you see there is a little crit on the top. And this is part of the air condition. A little, I don't know if it works right now, maybe it's not necessary, but we have several sensors here inside the room. They're doing a measurement of the temperature, oxygen level, etc. And if it's necessary, then it's like in your car, some cool fresh air coming out here of the grids, and we have a constant temperature and a convenient atmosphere for you even for a long time. In total, we are approximately 800 employees here working for the Opera House. There is our own orchestra called the Sächsische Staatskapelle, or the Saxon State Orchestra. Guys, this is one of the best orchestras in the world. Now you believe I tell you something because I work here. Yeah? But you can Google keywords like ranking, orchestra, Sony classic music, whatever, and you will find rankings of international orchestras, and we are usually around the top 10 of world's best orchestras. I'm not talking about Germany or Europe. It's also a very old orchestra. This orchestra celebrated last year the 475th birthday anniversary. So it's one of the oldest professional orchestras in the world. Our chief conductor, chef Kapellmeister right now is Maestro Daniele Gatti from Italy. Beside the orchestra, we have our own Saxon State Choir, Saxon State Ballet Ensemble or dancing company, and roughly 40 soloists for the leading roles for the operas. And of course a lot of technical personnel, technical staff, and in total, if you would add all these people together, they're roughly 800. Some words for the current situation. Let me check the plan.
지진 거, 궁전과 그렇게 있는 부속 건물, 그 다음에 미술관 보입니다. 그 다음에 저 멀리 방금 다녀온 잼퍼 오페라하우스입니다. 미술관을 한번 들어갈 수 있는지 보려고 반대쪽 출입구 쪽으로 걸어가고 있습니다. 와, 여기는 프라하고 틀리게 굉장히 도시가 정갈하고 정말 깨끗합니다. 여기는 또 입장료가 얼마나 될지. 여기 렘브란트 그림도 있고 유명한 화가들의 그림이 많다고 해서 한번 볼까 합니다. 지금 2층에 올라왔는데 카페만 보이고 입구가 안 보이네요. 무seum을 들어가려면 1층으로 다시 내려가라고 그래서
Hello.
Can I see a Rembrandt here?
No, this is the porcelain museum.
Ah.
The Rembrandt are in the paintings gallery.
But I couldn't find the entrance.
I will give you a map.
Yeah. Oh, there's a map. Here, can I get a ticket to inside? Here. 네, 여기 한층 걸어 내려가서 밑에 아마 로비가 있을 것 같습니다. 여기는 표를 사서 다시 위로 올라가서 미술품과 그리고 이 티켓을 사면은 여기 미술관과 아까 들렸던 포크레인 세 가지 전시관을 모두 볼 수 있다고 합니다. 루이스 대 실버스타. 도르소 아이너 라펠 꽃 아테네 여신 빌라움 콘스튜 엘더 어우스타 스타키 여기 진짜 이제 그림들이 엄청 많이. 베르메스, 베네딕크, 예수, 골고다 언덕이 가나 가나 잔치자리에서 포도주를 만들어 주신 예수님과 다음에 Bearing of the Cross. 제이콥 틴토렛도 The Harp Changer. 한상. 와, 이거 내 영화에 있던 그 그림이다. 라파엘로 여자의 나신이 정말 살아있는 것 같아. 와, 이건 누구 작품이야? Virgin enthroned with Saint Matthew. Saint Matthew. 한국 분들이시죠? 딱 알아봤어. 그죠? 저는 지금 자전거 여행 중입니다. 80일 동안. 여기는 좀 차로 왔는데, 다음에 저기, 네덜란드 국경 가서 차 반납하고 자전거 반납하고. 네. 포레지오. 여기 렘브란트인가? 아, 여기구나. 라파엘. 라파엘. 시스티나, 마도나. 방금 프라하에서 넘어왔고요.
저희 프라하에서가?
그래? 프라하 그 13월 민박집에서 이틀 2박 3일 보내고 오늘 라이프치히에 가서 자고 내일 저녁에 아마 하노버나 근처에 자고 그다음에 리얼하고 국경마을 가서 차 반납하고 저는 네덜란드로 이제 자전거 타고 서부 해안 따라 쭉 스페인까지
이제 며칠 되신 건데?
지금 22일, 23일 됐습니다 이제. 뉘렌베르크까지는 저기 자전거로 오고 스위스에부터.
그렇게 긴 시간을 어떻게?
네?
80일 어떻게 나오지?
아, 제가 이제 올해 퇴직이라서 남은 휴가 다 몰아서 내고 8월 중순까지인데 지금 걱정되는 게 지금 이제 더워지기 시작하잖아요. 낮 기온이 막 30도, 스페인 가면 뭐 48도까지 올라간다 그러는데.
덥긴 한데 한국만큼 습하지가 않아서도.
Что все точно написано по Тичери. У него название по брату. Брат был типа Бочкарев, Бочонок. Вот по Тичери это типа Бочкарев. Вот. И он был влюблен в одну женщину, он писал всегда только одно и то же лицо, да. Симонетта Веспуччи, такое тонченное лицо, и вот эта Богородица. И с младенцем, а за младенцем у нас Иоанн Креститель. Хотя в реальности Иоанн Креститель, он был ровесником Спасителя, да? Но вы увидите, что Иоанн Креститель...
이쪽은 보티첼리하고 바티스타, 타이잔. 오, 이게 뭐야? 이거는 안토넬로 다 메시나, 세인트 세바스티안. 이렇게 죽었다는 거구나. 오, 끔찍해라. 도메니코 페티. 이쪽은 다 페티 그림이네요. 피에르 프란세스코, 칼로 돌치, 펠리세 보셀리, 칼로 돌시, 지오바니 베네테토. 니콜라스 호세. This is the exit way. Exit? Exit.
Exit.
Yeah.
Der kürzeste Weg.
Huh?
Da haben Sie. Wenn Sie da drüben lang,
Ja?
dann rechts.
아, right. 이 계단 내려가는 데도 이렇게. 이거는 페인팅, 이거 페인팅이네. 이거는 이제 점토 위에다가 그린 그림인 것 같습니다. 예수 승천상도 있고.